Hello? Your Health is Calling, where holistic health meets practical solutions for your well-being. With your host, speaker, New York Times bestselling author, Sue Kostyk, a seasoned holistic health practitioner and longevity coach. Join Sue each week to embark on a journey to uncover the root causes of your health concerns. Through a personalized approach, learn how to decode the messages your body is sending and craft natural protocols to address them. Call in live at 888-994-4995 Studio A.
Good morning and welcome to Hello, Your Health is Calling. I'm Sue Kostyk. I am an integrative health practitioner. And what does that mean? Integrative health is a combination of traditional Chinese medicine, ancient Ayurvedic medicine, which is over 6,000 years old, and nutrition, all kind of lumped into one. We get to the bottom of what is going on, its root cause. We test via functional lab testing to truly get to the root cause of your symptoms, what's going on with you. We just like to dive a little bit deeper than conventional medicine does, and just helping you to figure things out versus putting a band-aid on your symptoms. So let's dive in. Today we are going to be talking about if your rain barrel truly is full. And what does that mean? I liken our bodies to a rain barrel, and this comes from a book from Dr. Stephen Cabral called The Rainbarrel Effect. And what it does is it talks about how we just keep piling toxin upon toxin upon toxin in our bodies until our liver can not deal with it anymore and things start to overflow, and that's when we start to see symptoms. So you know, dealing with some of these things in more of a natural way and figuring out what is happening and why you're having the symptoms you have. You know, in industrialized societies, cancer is second only to cardiovascular disease as cause of death. And, in ancient times, probably even up to the early 1900s, cancer was not normal. It's become such a normalized thing, and it was extremely rare. And, there's actually nothing in our natural environment that causes cancer. So, because we can't scrub out our inner body now, and we're surrounded, as I've said before, by over 90,000 chemicals, we just have to figure out how we can give our body that chance. And you need to learn the skills and modalities, just like you need to learn skills for, your profession. Taking care of your body is one of those things that you actually, in these times, you need to learn how to do. It's there is no longer the day of, oh, I eat a well-balanced diet and I exercise a little bit, so I'm going to be fine. We're kind of behind the eight ball where that is. So if you want to replay this, we're going to be doing a quiz in a little bit. And so, just as a reminder, all of these podcasts sit in YouTube at the Reinvented Life Network, and it's Hello, Your Health is Calling. And you can go back and look at any of them. I've gone through, oh gosh, over 25 weeks of talking about toxicity and how we can detox our bodies. And so this one in particular, we're going to be talking about how full is your rain barrel, and a modality to kind of help on a quarterly basis to just help remove all those excesses. We typically focus on adding to our body. If we have a symptom, we add to it. We go to the doctor and we get a pharmaceutical to help alleviate the symptoms. We add therapies. If we're feeling not as is mentally healthy, we go and we have therapy, or if we have some aches and pains, we go and we have physical therapy. But there's not a lot really taught on how we can remove the things that are actually causing us to not feel well. And, the answer is always going to be returning your body to equilibrium. Um, it's always going to be figuring out what your excesses are. What do we need to clean out? There's viruses, there's excess hormones, there's excess bacteria, there's toxins, as I've, said ad nauseum. And so, nothing about living with aches and pains, fatigue, chronic illness, health issues, none of this is normal. We've normalized not feeling well. And it's unfortunate that we've been led to believe that as we age, that this is what's going to happen, that this is the normal aging process. And what I want to point out today through this toxicity quiz that we're going to take is that um, you can start to tell the signs even in your 20s. There's some people, especially our younger generation, that they start to see the signs early on and they don't really pay attention to them because your body is going to, it's going to balance itself out, whether it robs Peter to pay Paul, or, you're going into another system. Your body is going to live, and so it's going to start robbing your hormone production, or different things that you need to survive. So by the time you're in your 50s, that's when you start seeing what's been happening in your 20s. So this quiz is for everybody. And it's taken from this book, The Rainbarrel Effect. And Dr. Stephen Cabral is the doctor that I have all my certifications under. He's a functional medicine doctor in Boston and started the Integrative Health Institute. And so this is kind of a quiz that he's developed. So you're going to want to grab a piece of paper and a pencil, and we're going to move through this. And then I'm going to talk about your score at the end, and we'll kind of tie everything together. So you're going to grade each one of these with a 0, a 1, a 2, or a 3. So a 0 is you don't have the symptom, you've never had the symptom. The 1 is you feel the symptoms 1 or 2 times a month, nothing outrageous. 2 is you feel the symptom weekly. And 3 is you feel this symptom daily. So from a scale of 0 to 3, 3 being the highest, you've got it every single day. 1 is maybe once or twice a month, and 2, again, you have this weekly. So we're going to start at the top, which is your head. And if you have headaches, migraines, or now each one of these, you're going to grade each one that I mentioned. So headache, migraine is 1, dizziness, faintness, neck tension. Whenever I go to the chiropractor, they're like, where does it hurt? And it's always my neck. Always my neck and my shoulders, because that's where I hold all my tension. The fourth thing for the head is, do you have kind of brain fog? Do you feel a little cloudy? This is particularly one of the things that women often come to me with is they say, oh, I just have this foggy feeling in my head. I just, don't feel like I'm as sharp. Okay, so that's your head. So let's move to your sinuses. And if you experience nasal congestion or stuffy nose, allergies, whether it's seasonal or daily, if you have excess mucus, you're always kind of coughing, do you feel like you've got a lot of phlegm? Are you sneezing? Yeah, I mean, I know people sneeze, but if you're sneezing a lot, then that is also a signal. Do you blow your nose a lot? Is there always that kind of goes with that excess mucus? Is it, do you always feel like you're having to blow your nose because you just have that sinus drainage? So for your eyes, do you have dark circles under your eyes? And or do you have bags under your eyes? Those are two separate things, dark circles or bags. Itchy eyes. Do you wake up and your eyes are super itchy, or do you just suffer with itchy eyes? And again, this could be seasonal or it could be daily. Um, do you have watery eyes? Are your eyes watery? And how about your vision? Do you have blurred vision? And I'm not like talking about if you wear glasses. It's just like sometimes you just like kind of feel like your vision's just a little bit blurry. And then when you wake up in the morning, do you have that crusty stuff over your eyes? So that's for your eyes. Let's go to our ears. So for our ears, do you have itchy ears? Do you have discharge or drainage from your ears? I had a client come to me one time and she said, I feel like I constantly have water in my ears. So if that's kind of a good explanation for that. Do you have ringing in your ears? Have you been diagnosed with tinnitus? Do you have excess wax buildup? Do you have kind of blocked or muffled hearing? Do you kind of feel like sometimes your ears, like you're going up in elevation, and your ears kind of get plugged until they pop? Do you have that muffled, that blocked kind of feeling? So let's go on to our teeth. So do you have pain in your gums or your teeth? Any pain? Do your gums bleed? Do you have silver fillings? So from a certain generation, that was what we got our teeth filled with when we had cavities, was a silver filling. So if you have silver fillings, then you need to put a 3 in there. Do you have metal crowns or have you had a root canal? So if you have scored that, we need to put a 3 in there as well. So pain in gums or teeth, bleeding gums, those are your regular. If you have silver fillings, you need to put a 3 in there. If you have metal crowns or root canal, then you need to put a 3 in there as well. Okay, so your mouth. Do you have canker sores? Do you have cold sores? Cracking on lips? Discolored lips? Do you get that white film on your lips? So these are each separate. So you want to score them separately. Canker sores, cold sores, cracking lips, chapped lips, that chronic chapping of lips, discolored lips, or kind of that white film on your lips. For your tongue, do you have red dots on your tongue? Do the sides of your tongue look indented? I know a lot of us don't like give a lot of attention to our tongue. But in traditional Chinese medicine, your tongue is very telling. In fact, my daughter, I shared this before. She had leukemia when she was little, and repairing her from the effects of chemotherapy and steroids, we had to go through quite a bit. And we went to a traditional Chinese medicine doctor, and all he did was look at her tongue. And the information that we got from that was really amazing. So your tongue is something that you really should pay attention to. So again, red dots on your tongue. Do the sides of your tongue look indented or like scalloping? Do you have a coating? Is there like a white, yellow coating on your tongue? Do you have any cracks or lines on your tongue? So that is something that we really want to pay attention to. Okay, so let's go to our glands, and most of us like think of our glands as right here, but we do have glands. We've got a lot of different lymph areas. So if you have any swollen lymph glands or nodes in your neck, your armpits, your groin area, these are things to pay attention to. Do you have a difficulty swallowing? That one of the things is when, if you lead a chronically stressed life, you might start noticing that you're having more difficulty swallowing from time to time. So that is a big sign. And then, does your voice go in and out? This is something that is really something to pay attention to, because if your voice is starting to change and you're an adult, um, that's something to pay attention to. If you all of a sudden have more of a raspy voice, and this doesn't have to be constantly, so remember how we're grading these. This is 0 for never, 1 for once or twice a month, 2 for weekly, and then 3 for daily. So pay attention to how your voice is. That has a direct correlation to your overall health. Do you get swollen hands, feet, ankles? That is also a telltale sign of your health. So, those are the things with your glands. Let's go to our breathing. We're going to move down to the lungs. And do you feel tension in your chest? Do you feel tightness in your chest? Do you sometimes feel like you have an inability to get enough air? Do you have congestion? Do you have a chronic cough? If you have a lot of congestion in your chest, coughing is the way that we clean out our lungs, so to speak. So that's another thing. Do you clear your throat a lot? And again, going to that hoarseness of your voice, you know, um, that's something. Again, it's not all the time. I mean, if it is all the time, then and if that's changed drastically, then check out my website at symmetryhealthandwellness.com. Get in touch with me and we'll start figuring that out. Any of these things, if you have more questions about this, please get in touch with me because we can go over this in more in depth and really get some modalities. It could just be a simple deficiency, or it could be an overgrowth that we need to remove. So once you finish this test and you want to really dive more into your overall health, and if you think that your barrel is really overflowing, then that's not the bad news. It's like that's just telling you where you're at in your health journey. So we can figure all this out and we can figure out what your deficiencies are, figure out what you have too much of, and just start to peel the onion away and get you back to good health. Okay, so now we're going to talk about weight. And if you have difficulty losing weight, that is one. If you gain weight really easily, if you feel swollen or puffy, a lot of times people will say, oh my gosh, I woke up and I know that I just gained 5 pounds overnight. That is not 5 pounds of fat. That is inflammation. That is swelling. That is your body is inflaming for some reason. So if you feel that, if you retain water really easily, that's another thing. Um, and I'm going to go back to this age thing. They tell us, especially as women, and we get older, we're going to retain water. All these things. That's not normal. So we need to figure out why you're retaining water. Do you binge eat or are you a compulsive eater? And what I mean by that is some people, we all know what binge eating means. But when you're a compulsive eater, that means that there's something that's driving you to eat and it's not hunger. So that's another thing that is very telltale of how toxic you are. And if that's something that you're doing or you feel like you have a tendency to do, then we can figure that out as well. Okay, joints and muscles. Now here's one, and going back to the aging things, everyone's like, oh, I'm aging, I'm going to be sore, I'm going to be stiff. Um, you don't have to be. You really don't. So if you feel pain in your joints, that is one item. If you have muscle stiffness, if you have a limited range of motion, if you have muscle weakness or loss of strength, if you have arthritis. So, grade each one of those separately. And again, aging does not mean that you have any of these. We've been, kind of fed a lie that this is the normal aging process, and it's not. And there are certainly enough examples of people in their 80s and 90s that are doing marathons, they are running daily, they're moving, they're very active, they're not moaning and groaning about their aches and pains. So there's a lot of examples that we can go to that doesn't mean that as you age, that's how you have to feel. Okay, your skin. Let's talk about your skin. Do you have acne? Do you have hair loss? Do you have hot flashes? Again, I know women, you're going to be telling me, well, it's menopause. So that is something that can be extremely balanced, if not eliminated, through supplementation. And I'm not meaning hormone replacement therapy. I'm talking about supplementing your hormone producing organs so that you're continuing to produce. Even women in menopause, even women who have had full hysterectomies, we can do this. It's just, it's, you just need to figure out what you're deficient in and how you can support your body in producing those things. Do you have dry skin? Is it flaky? Is it just dry? I know seasonally we do get into a drier issue, or depending on where you live, I live in Arizona, it's a desert. My skin is chronically dry, but there are things you can do to help your skin maintain moisture and, you know, through supplementation and through, not putting toxic things on your skin. We tend to slather our skin with things that have a lot of toxins in it, a lot of endocrine disruptors in it. So knowing what to do, again, please contact me, support at helloyourhealthiscalling.com. We can get on a call, we can figure all these things out. So do you itch? Do you have hives? Do you feel like you're itching on the inside? Is your skin literally itching on the outside? Those are other things. Do you have psoriasis? Do you have eczema, ringworm, skin rashes? Any of those things are a sign that your rain barrel is filling up. So remember to grade each one of these separately. It's not clumped as a whole. So let's go on to sleep. Do you Do you have the inability to fall asleep? Do you stay asleep or do you wake up frequently? Do you have nightmares? Is your heart racing at night? Now, women, a lot of us have this and it's a hormone thing, so there could be some hormone disruption going on if your heart is racing at night. I know I experienced this a few years ago. Do you have night sweats? And that's not necessary. All these things are not just for women. Men experience these things too. So I do talk to men in my practice that fall asleep very quickly, but then wake up and can't go back to sleep. So that's an issue. So again, inability to fall asleep, can't stay asleep, wake up frequently. Do you have nightmares? Is your heart racing at night? And do you have night sweats? Those are things to be graded. Okay, let's talk about our energy. I'm going to have to talk faster. When you wake up, are you tired? Are you tired upon waking? Do you have daytime or afternoon fatigue? Do you hit that wall at like 2, 3 o'clock? Do you have a general lack of energy? Do you feel apathy? Do you have a lack of ambition or drive? As an opposite, are you hyperactive? Do you feel like you can't sit still? Do you have restlessness? You can't get comfortable? Um, do you tap your feet, shake your leg or your hands when you're seated? I live with someone who does that. And anyway, I digress. Do you have a decreased libido or sexual function? Okay, so digestion, let's go on to that. Do you get tired after your meals, especially lunch? This is something in my practice that we test for food sensitivities. And your digestion hinges a lot on if you are sensitive to something. That's not an allergy. An allergy could kill you. So, if you're allergic to something and get hives or it's anaphylactic, then that's an allergy. But if there is something that you're eating that you're sensitive to, this can really disrupt your well being and it could just add to your toxic load. So that's one thing that we want to really find out. So, do you get tired after you eat? Do you feel bloated after you eat? Do you have gas after you eat? Do you experience belching or burping frequently? Do you have heartburn? Do you have diarrhea, constipation, a combination of both? Do you have stomach or intestinal pain? Um, my one of my daughters, I have four daughters. When she was in high school, she came to me and she said, "Mom, when I eat, I feel like I'm swallowing glass." So that is also something. If you're feeling pain, then there's an issue that we need to do. And I have tests for all of these, which is the great news. So we can figure all this out. Does your stomach protrude more at the end of the day? Now, okay, we all kind of at the end of the day we feel a little bit of bloated. But is your stomach like, are you all of a sudden 6 months pregnant, male or female? So that is a sign of something not being right. Okay, let's go to our minds. Do you have a lack of concentration? Are you easily distracted? Do you have difficulty making decisions? Do you experience brain fog? Do you have trouble putting sentences together? Do you find that you're dropping things frequently? And have you been diagnosed with any learning disability or ADHD, ADD, that kind of thing? Those again are all separate to be graded separately. So your emotions. Do you experience anxiety? Do you experience overwhelm? Are you irritable? Do you feel anger or rage? Do you have dark thoughts? Are you sad for no reason? Do you have mood swings? Are you happy and sad? Do you feel depressed? Do you have seasonal affective disorder? So those are all things that will give you an indication on how full your rain barrel is. So very quickly, I have just a couple minutes left. So as you're adding up these scores, and if you need to go back and rewatch this, that's great. I'm also going to be on the Brooklyn Cafe at 1 Eastern, and we're going to talk about the results of this test. So if you score 0 to 9, you're doing great. You may want to do a seasonal 7-day detox. That's what I do based on how I'm feeling. Sometimes it's a 21-day detox every 3 months, but that's just to remove, those environmental things from your body. If you score 10 to 19, you are okay overall, but you're starting to see the signs of accumulation and hidden toxicities. So, what my recommendation always is to do a 21-day detox. And that just gets you reset. It's an amazing tool. You can go to yourgutacademy.com and pick these up, either 7, 14, or 21 day. So then if you're 20 plus, so I'm just going to be real. The first time I did this test, I was 50. So you have it. 20 plus, you are showing signs of toxic overload. You have a lot of inflammation. You probably are experiencing low mood, low energy, maybe even have a diagnosis of an inflammatory disease. So, that is when we really need to dig deep and we need to do the functional lab testing. Let's find out why you're experiencing these things. And we always will start out with a 21-day detox. So that is going to be your best tool. And these detoxes are not bowel detoxes. It's a liver detox. You don't have to stay home to do it. It's all traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, herbs, things from the earth, nothing synthetic. So it's always, always, always going to be starting with a 21-day detox. And if you did score high on this, it is not to put you in despair because there's always, always something that we can do to make this score go down. I typically go around a 10 to a 12 when I retake this test. So, it's like I don't think I'll ever be 0 to 9. I don't know. There's just too much going on in my world. But so the good news is there is good news. And, your health is not a hobby. That's why I am doing this podcast because I have such a passion to bring this forward to people, to let them know that no matter where you are, what stage of life you're in, if you're young, middle aged, old, you can always start working on your health. And don't consider it a hobby. Don't wait till you can afford it, because you're either going to pay for your health or you're going to pay for a sickness. So let's jump ahead of the line and start working on our health. And if you are having symptoms, if you are showing signs, then answer it. Answer the call that your body is giving you. It's not messing up, it's giving you a signal. So, hello, your health is calling. YouTube at the Reinvented Life Network, and you can watch all of these. So, thanks for watching, and I will be back next week.
Thank you for tuning in to another empowering episode of Hello, Your Health is Calling with Sue Kostyk. Remember, your health journey is ongoing, and we're here to support you every step of the way. If you have any questions, insights, or stories to share, don't hesitate to reach out. You can connect with us on social media or call in live at 888-994-4995 Studio A. Together, we're transforming lives and embracing holistic well-being. Until next time, prioritize your health and remember, your health is calling.